Hey guys, and welcome back to this GCSE artwork series. This is part number 2. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I would definitely recommend going to check that out because it's kind of the start of this whole journey and everything comes into place. I'm really proud of this book. I think it really shows my development, and I'm going from like a average GCSE art student to a grade 9 GCSE art student, which I think is so cool. And if you didn't know, I did achieve a grade 9 in my GCSE art. I was not expecting to, but I did. So if you are looking to get a grade 9, or if you're just looking to improve your GCSE artwork, improve your grades, then I would definitely recommend sticking around because I will be showing you all of my GCSE artwork and what I did, what I maybe didn't do, and how I got my 9. So I really hope you enjoy this, and yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so I finally managed to get a good camera angle, but the first project that we started with, so we'd finished the other project that I was talking about in my last GCSE art video, which was a sense of place, and our next topic, bearing in mind this wasn't the GCSE project, this was just another mock exam, which I think we started this in year 10, I don't remember, but it was the fantastic and the strange. So the first thing we had to do, I think this was our summer homework, so yeah, we started this in year 11. So this was our summer homework, and it was just to create a title page, so I just used some printouts of the Daily Prophet, which, if you didn't know, is the newspaper that they use in Harry Potter, because it is very fantastic and strange. It was a very, very broad brief. I think I didn't really stick to it, but I kind of did at the same time, so we'll see. And then the next task was to make a page with different words that mean fantastic and strange, kind of like a mind map. Yeah. I really kind of like mind maps. I think they look really cool, and these are definitely much better than my other ones that I did in part 1, which, if you haven't seen that, then definitely go and see it. Then the next was to create a mind map of images. And now I really, really like this page. I put so many of my favourite fandoms on there. I think my interests have definitely changed, but I still really love like Marvel, obviously, The Greatest Showman, which you can see, and Coraline, and The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I've always really loved that. And I just put some random images, like fantastic and strange images. I don't think I really used any of these images, but they're here, and it's a proper mind map, so I just put loads of different images on there that were fantastic and strange. And then I did some photography. I don't think I used any of this photography either, so yeah, please use your own photography. Yeah. This is just random stuff that I had already saved on my computer. I didn't really put much effort into this, to be honest. But yeah, so the observational drawings, these two were from like primary, I think. So I had a skull, like one of those skull statues you can get. I did a pen and ink drawing of that, and then this is just a biro drawing of a statue that I had a photograph of. And this is a Rivendell elf helmet from Lord of the Rings, in case you didn't know. Yeah, and this is secondary source, so I did some whales, some jellyfish, and I did 11, again, when I really didn't have my coloured pencil skills or watercolour skills, but I quite like it. Okay, so the next topic, or page even, was looking at Emma Gale. So she kind of did collages and pencil drawings. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I didn't really use her in my final piece. So she did collages, and this, you can see this one of Frida Kahlo I really, really liked, so I made a recreation of it. I did some collages, so I printed out some pictures, and then I did the face, I just drew the face with charcoal and coloured pencil, and my teacher didn't like it. She didn't like quite a lot of my work, actually, but I really liked it. And then I did some other inspired things, so I did the little lizard, I drew the lizard, and I put some just paper triangles on him. I think he looks really cool. And then I did, this one is of a thestral from Harry Potter. I actually have a picture of that. It was a statue from when I went to the studio tour. So I have a thestral, I drew the thestral, and then I added some peacock feathers and just some feathers. And then my art teacher told me to make this one better, but I actually prefer it like this. So this is the, so yeah, it doesn't even stick down. So this is what, like the outcome for this. I really don't like it. It's just like a potion and like smoke and everything. If I could turn it. That was the original, so I drew her face and I then added some material, some pictures of material and a crown. I really like it like this, but yeah. And then if you want to pause to read the writing, then feel free, because I'm not going to read it all out. Although I do tend to kind of ramble in my writing, so bear that in mind. And then, I never finished this page actually, because I didn't really need to do it. But I did this page on shadow, and I did this drawing of a Gollum from Lord of the Rings. And I did this one of Miss Peregrine. I don't even know why this piece of paper is here, to be honest. I think it's to cover that. And this one of the Babadook from the Babadook movie. But yeah, it was just a page on shadow. I never really finished it. It was supposed to be developmental, but it wasn't. And okay, I hate this page so much, but apparently it was important. I don't think it was. So we looked at this artist called Tisha Moore. Now, no disrespect, Tisha Moore, if for some reason you're watching this, but I just really don't like her artwork. Like, I like the collage mixed media idea, but I didn't like the fact that we have to do the different typographies here. I just think this page looks so ugly, and if you know, like, I love having like dense worked pages, and I just really don't think this is it. I don't think I really use this in my final piece. I referenced it, so I had it in there, but I didn't use like typography or anything. And then patterns, because obviously Tisha Moore uses patterns. We did a page on patterns, so I did some photography. Not all of this is my own photography, but I just did some photography around my house. Then I made a page of different patterns. Again, I didn't really use this, to be honest. And then we had to do a response. So we found pictures in like magazines, and I just found this one of Kristen Stewart. I just liked the fact that it was really nice and light. Then I printed out a picture of a sunset, a camera, a cruise, a plane, and it's kind of like she's traveling wherever she wants to go. Yeah, I actually kind of like it, but I never used this again. Because I was really just doing what I was told to do. I wasn't actually owning the project, which I think in the next project you will see that I do kind of own it more. And then, I didn't even finish this page, so just as a photocopy of the pattern page. Yeah, not a fan. Yeah, this page is really, really not great. We were just going back to basics shading. Yeah, I wouldn't have done this if it was up to me, but I was just, again, following rules. I really don't like it. And then, yeah, I was honestly taking the piss when I did this drawing. Like, it's really, really bad, but we were told to do it in pastel, and I'm not very good at pastel, so I said, look, I'm not very good at pastel, let's just leave it. But no, she told me to do it, and then my teacher hated it, so she told me to do another one and she hated it. So I was really kind of taking the piss at this point, but it's there. I didn't use these pictures. It was a response to an artist called Lisa Ober, who does these amazing pastel drawings, but I'm obviously not up to her standard. And then we did some more. And then, yeah, so this is the last page that I did, that I was kind of thinking that I just had to follow the rules, and I just had to just go along with what my teacher was saying. But and then I just thought, I'm not going anywhere with this. There's no way that I can make a good piece from this. So I decided to kind of break away from the norm, and I then started to look at, oh, there's another page, just, yeah, like random photography. We did this setup in class, and it was really bad. But yeah, anyway, I decided to look at something else that I was actually passionate about and then I could relate to the fantastic and strange prompt. So if you're ever feeling stuck with your GCSE artwork, then feel free to do this. Your art teacher shouldn't care like how you produce the work and what subject matter you're doing. As long as you're owning it, then they can't complain. And the examiners don't care what the subject matter is, as long as it's there and as long as it's high quality. They're not going to care about what the topic is. So I decided to look at foxes. And I also decided to look at the Native American ideas because I'm really kind of into that kind of stuff. I love foxes, as you know, and I also love Native American dream catchers and all of that just kind of stuff. Yeah, so here were the preparations for my final piece. So I wanted to either do it, you know that fox drawing that I was in my previous portfolio, I wanted to do something similar to that in acrylic paint. So I just had two ideas there, but then I had the idea, I'd seen these fox paintings with like the fox spirit coming out of like another fox like this on Pinterest. I really wanted to recreate one of those, so I decided to add some of those into my composition ideas, and I actually ended up having that as my final piece. I don't know who the artist is who came up with this idea. I'm sure it wasn't really an original idea, but I just really liked it. So then, yeah. So here I did some fox paintings. This is the first ever painting I did with my Winsor & Newton watercolors, which is what I use. Like, I love these watercolors so much. I always use them. I will never go back to another set. I always love my Winsor & Newton watercolors, and this was the first painting I ever did with them. So it has kind of a special place in my heart. But yeah, that was the first painting I did, and then I did this painting, then this one, and then these are acrylic paintings that I did of foxes because my subject matter for my final piece was going to be foxes. So I just did a big page of fox paintings. And then I also did some feathers because the Native Americans, I didn't actually use this in my final piece, but it's just good to show the development. So I just did some really loose watercolour feathers, again in my Winsor & Newton watercolours. I really love them. So just some really loose feather drawings or paintings, and then I did some acrylic feather paintings. I really like this brown one. It doesn't really show up on the camera, I don't think, but I really love this brown one. And again, I wasn't really experienced with acrylic paint or watercolour paint, so they're not amazing, but they're still there. And then I did, this one's actually on my Instagram. I think it's on my Instagram anyway. I did this fox painting in the style of Thailand tea. He does these really beautiful animal portraits that have like watercolour splashes everywhere, and I just love them. So I did a response to his artwork, and I really love this. I really love these page spreads, by the way, where I have the black background and the white writing. I just think it looks so much more professional. And then here are my two compositions that I was planning on doing. Oh, yeah. I remember these were taken out for an exhibition, but these were my two other fox paintings. I didn't actually get to annotate them. But yeah, this one was taken out for an exhibition, so that's why it was ripped. So I did this one, and then I did this fox painting, who you will all recognise. He is my favourite painting I have ever done. I love this fox painting so much, and I just think it's such a shame that it's stuck in my book and I can't display it anywhere. But this one's been ruthlessly torn out. I did not give them permission to take it out, by the way. I did not know they had taken it out. But yeah, so I just did these two responses, and by this point I was really confident in using my watercolours, and I really love this style, and I've stuck with this style like to this day. And this was my response, what do they call, dummy run, kind of experimenting piece, like practice run, whatever you want to call it. And I was using the watercolours, and I just had the two foxes and the fox spirits coming out, and I think it's really, it's not great, but it's nice. And yeah, I will go and get my final piece. Wait a second. So this was the Fox outcome. As you can see, this is A2. I really like it. I'll show you like a close-up of it. I added the writing. I think the writing said a trust, I think I remember. And yeah, the other little foxes there. And just all the watercolour. It's not the greatest piece of watercolour in the world, but I've literally, like, this was the first time I properly used my watercolours, like my Winsor & Newton ones. So yeah, I really like it. I think it's kind of cool, but then again, I have done better, and it was kind of a copy of other people's. Like, this was not an original idea, but I really like it. I'm kind of proud of it. And then yeah, I just photocopied it, and then I just added some writing, my like evaluation for that. So that was the Fantastic and Strange project. I really enjoyed this project when I started using the foxes, so definitely if you feel stuck and if you feel like you're just not enjoying your artwork at the school, then definitely just take it into your own hands, and as long as you've got the work there and you've got the development, you've got the experimentation, you're going to get really good grades, trust me. If you want me to do a video on like tips on how to get good grades, or you know, stuff like that, then definitely let me know in the comment section. I would love to do more videos to help you guys get the grades that you want. So yeah, definitely let me know if you would like to see that. So this is the next project we did, and this was the last project we did before we got our official GCSE exam paper. So this was basically like the mock exam. So the theme was identity, and at this project I literally got the prompt and I just did my own thing, because we weren't really doing anything in class, and I just decided I would do my own thing. So I just did this mind map. It's of Harmony Nice, she's one of my favourite YouTubers. So I just did a painting of, or a drawings, coloured pencil, and a watercolour painting of her with all the words that relate to identity, and just a few random pictures that I got as well. And then I got some primary sources. None of these I used again. I just used some primary sources and did some writing about them. And then my first artist research was actually an Instagram artist who I have followed for a long time, who is Malgorzata Sanzovic. I really hope I'm saying that right, and I just love her artwork so much, and my teacher told me not to contact the artist, which I really don't understand. So I couldn't actually ask her for permission, but I really, if you're watching this for some reason, I really hope I'm not disrespecting you by using your artwork. I've credited you. This is all the copies I did of her artwork. I completely I credit to her. They're not my own artwork. So yeah, so definitely follow her on Instagram if you haven't already. So yeah. So she was my first artist research, and I actually got to choose the artist. We were given a list, but we could choose the artist we wanted. So I chose Malgorzata Sanzovic because I loved her anatomy and her coloured pencil style. I thought it was so cool, and the way she did it was just so cool. And I still love her style. Check her out on Instagram if you haven't already. So, oh yeah, by the way, these two are responses. So this is a copy of that one, and this is a copy of that one. And then I then used my own skills and my own images to use as my responses. So this was actually a stock photo. I used like a stock reference. But I really liked her idea of using the superheroes, so I used, I made her into Storm. And I just included some references here of just Marvel characters. And then I used my markers, my Copics, to make this one of the boots. So I think I used one of these. I don't actually remember. This is also on my Instagram. I think most of the art you see from now on is on my Instagram. If you want to go and check it out, definitely go and follow me on Instagram. The link will be in my description. I really enjoy using the markers. It's not really something I would do again, but I quite like it. And then, I don't even know why this bit of paper's here. So the next topic was given like a homework to do, and it was primary source drawing. So I used this one. Again, I think this was a picture that someone sent to me. It's just of point shoes, and this is a graphite drawing, and then this one is of a viola scroll, which I took a picture of because I used to play the viola. So I took a picture of that, and I drew the scroll of it. And this one was from a Google search. I just copied the image of like the hands, then I added this like black gooey stuff because it was relating to my next artist research, which you'll see in a minute. And then I did this colour pencil portrait of one of my friends. So I really don't like this page again. I hate doing thumbnails. But this was the ideas. I didn't actually use any of these ideas, but they were there. So the thumbnails were, I like the idea of someone at a concert, because obviously identity, you like music, and then a girl holding a guitar. This one was very similar to the mind map, and then just someone wearing a headdress. I don't actually know where I was going with this. I just wanted to get some thumbnails done. But yeah, and then we got some primary photography, which I then used. And then my next artist research was Seafret. Now we could actually research bands as well as actual artists who, like, you know, paint. I decided to do an artist research of a band, and Seafret are one of my favourite bands. They are a duo, but I just call them a band because it's easier. I just think their music is so beautiful. Definitely go and check it out if you haven't. They just released a new album. It's just, I cannot describe how beautiful their music is. It's just, I just love it so much. So I just did an artist research of them. So I did a pencil drawing of them, a pencil drawing of a guitar, and a pencil drawing of Maisie Williams, who was in one of their music videos. And I also did a watercolor painting of their album cover. But yeah, I did this because I really like their music and it's really part of my identity. So I decided to use the guitar in my final piece because their music is primarily based on guitar. Harry plays the guitar, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing their artist research. Oh yeah, and this was just an activity we did in class, so I just thought I would include it in my book. But we were just testing different backgrounds, different materials to use backgrounds with. So I used, I think, marker, oh yeah, I wrote it, so Copics. I used chalk pastel, watercolor, oil pastel, gouache, and acrylic paint. Yeah, I think I chose the watercolor one, or the acrylic, I don't actually remember, but yeah, it was just different backgrounds that you could use. Yeah. And then we did the foreground ideas. So I copied this image of the girl playing the guitar in graphite. Then I also did a picture, this is a picture of one of my friends. I did a pencil portrait and then a watercolor portrait. I really love this watercolor style. I've seen quite a few people do it. And I saw like loads of pictures of people with like stars in their hair, and it inspired me to do it like this. So I really love this painting, and you'll see this style crop up in my actual GCSE project. I really enjoy it, and this is like the Kickstarter for my whole GCSE project. But yeah, as you can see, this page is really busy and I really quite like it. And then I just did a study of guitars. I have a few primary images of guitars here, and then I did a painting of a guitar and just some writing. I don't think this is actually finished. I didn't actually finish that bit, but it's an acrylic painting of a guitar. And then I did some focuses on dream catchers because I really wanted to put dream catchers in my final project, or my final piece, sorry, because I used it in my Fantastic and Strange, and I really love dream catchers. I have loads of dream catchers in my room. So yeah, I just did this watercolor painting, and I really love the idea of this background, so I actually stuck with this and I used this in my final piece, and I just really love the colours and I just love everything about it. And then I did a batik piece. If you don't know what batik is, it's basically using wax. You use melted wax and you make this design, and then you paint over it, and then when you remove the wax by ironing, it reveals this like really beautiful design. I really love batik, especially because I have like Indian Bengali roots, and it's very common to see in those countries, so I really loved using batik. Unfortunately I didn't get to use it in my final piece, but the idea was still there. And then this was kind of my practice piece. So I had background, I had the watercolor style, the like purpley style, and oh, this is actually like been torn out. I think this was used in an exhibition. But yeah, so I put the tattoos on as well. I linked the fox back to my Fantastic and Strange, and like the crystals, and obviously the guitar is part of the C-fret, and the Dreamcatcher obviously back to the Fantastic and Strange. And the hair, that hair took me so long, but I really, really love the hair. I think it looks really cool. And then I did some boot illustrations because I wanted her to be wearing boots because I really love these boots. So I did one in watercolor and one in acrylic, and then I did it with the background and I did the acrylic paint. So my final piece did really turn out very mixed media. Okay, and then the last artist research I did was Sleeping at Last. Now, if you don't know who Sleeping at Last is, he is an incredible musician who I think has written some of the most beautiful modern music I've ever heard. I would definitely recommend checking him out. His music is honestly so, so beautiful. But I wanted to research him because I wanted to get that feeling of the relaxation that music gives you and how beautiful music can be. And I just wanted this celestial ideas because he has a whole playlist of music that is dedicated to planets and space exploration, and it's just so beautiful, guys. Definitely, I cannot stress how much you need to check it out. So I did some watercolor paintings. I did this one I don't really like, but it's a quote from one of his songs, and I just did this watercolor background. And then I did this one of his album art, and then I also did this of his album art. Then I just did 2 paintings of planets as well. So yeah, definitely if you really, really want to, you can use songs and you can use music artists as inspiration. You don't have to just use like artists who paint and draw, because obviously it's identity, so whatever inspires you. And then I did this. This is kind of like my practice piece for my final piece. So I have the Dreamcatcher, I have the hair, the watercolor, the guitar, the acrylic paint, everything. Yeah. And then, oh, I think this was, oh yeah, this was all of my final piece. I just kind of stuck it together, I photocopied it, but this is what it ended up looking like. And these are all my references, I think. Oh yeah, I'll show you like the actual final piece. So this is my girl playing the guitar one. Again, I'm not overly fond of this one. I'm never really fond of my final pieces, I must say. But yeah, I'll show you like close-ups of it. And the tattoos, and the Sleeping at Last, the guitar, the boots, and the dream catchers. Yeah, again, I did this as my final piece. We did do this one as a 10-hour exam. I think I used about 6 of the hours. Most of the hours were just adding stars and drips and that. As you can see, the background has got lots of stars and drips in it. But yeah, I really do like this, but I could have done better, I think. Yeah. Then again, the analysis that we never used, but we all stressed over. But yeah. So that was the end of my mock exams, and then in the next part of this video, I will be showing you my actual GCSE project and what I did for it, because I'm really kind of excited to actually see it again because I haven't looked at it for quite a while. So I'm really looking forward to that. So definitely subscribe if you want to see that. I will post it sometime soon. I'm filming these all on the same day, but I don't know if I'm going to get them all edited yet. But definitely subscribe and let me know any more video ideas down below in the comments. And any questions, if you have any questions, because I really want to film a Q&A, like a get to know me Q&A. So yeah, definitely leave all of those suggestions down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.